sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
B-E-N-D-E-R, Bender! B-E-N-D-E-R, Bender! Saying B-E-N-D!
This is gonna be a shit show, you guys.
Tonight, we're going to talk about Troilus and Cressida. Ever heard about Troilus and Cressida?
Nope.
Neither have we. So in 1602, we think thereabouts, Shakespeare wrote this play about the Trojan War. The Trojan War. It's about the 7th year. The Greeks have pretty low morale.
It's fought over latex, I believe.
Yeah, we think so. Achilles is kicking back in his tent. He's drinking beer.
His heel hurts, aren't we?
Talking
all?
shit. He's got his boy toy. He's like, what the fuck, why? The Trojans are like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't be fighting this 7-year war. And then they got this guy, Hector. He's kind of the big, he's
a
kind of
badass.
He's kind of the big dick. Am I allowed to say big dick? Okay.
Big swinging Hector dick.
He's the big swinging Hector dick.
I like this story already.
So he's getting ready. Yeah, right?
Got something for everybody.
So the big swinging Hector dick is up there in the tower in Troy. So
we're sorry, your call cannot be completed. Please check the number and try again.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heavens of invention. A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels leashed in like hounds should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, gentles all, the flat, unraised spirits that have dared on this worthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold within the vasty fields of France, or may we cram within this wooden O the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? Oh, pardon. Pardon. Oh, pardon, since a crooked figure may attest in little place a million, and let us, ciphers to this great account on your imaginary forces work. Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined 2 mighty monarchies, whose high upreared and abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts. Into 1,000 parts divide one man and make imaginary puissance. Think, when we talk of horses, that you see them printing their proud hooves upon the receiving earth. For 'tis your thoughts that must deck our kings, carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass, for the which supply admit me chorus to this history, who prologue like your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play. Hey y'all, this is the Reverend Spooky Lestrange, the most dangerous woman burlesque. I am coming at you live, sort of, from the emergency exit of a school bus in the De La Salle parking lot, which was conveniently open for my use. And here's Max, panting heavily. King Henry V, man. That motherfucker. You see, what had happened was, oh shit. So, this is the part where we drunkenly discuss Shakespeare and recite certain plays. And my play, of course, is King Henry V. Because, so when I was in high school, we had a Shakespeare recitation contest. And they gave us certain monologues that we had to choose from. And of course, everyone chooses Romeo and Juliet, which I, of course, am like, oh my God, that's so fucking parvenu. It's not even funny. Like, that's just fucking whatever. So, Romeo and Juliet, it's like my least favorite Shakespeare play. So, of course, all of them are girls. And they all pick Romeo and Juliet because they want to do a famous Juliet monologue. But I, being the contrarian, decided I would do Henry V because that was the option. And I wanted to be the weirdo. Well, didn't want to be. I just kind of was. So, here's my take. Here's my fucked up take. Here's my fucked up take. King Henry V. I got all my accoutrement. I got my whiskey and coke. I got my, what is this? Hippie crack? And I got my whipped cream canister. So, Henry V. I've had that monologue memorized since high school, which is obviously, I'm an old bitch, so that was like a million fucking years ago, right? So, alright, so, my take on Henry V. Because who the fuck knows Roman numerals anyway? Like, they're just fucking stupid. Like, V, VII, VIX, XX, VII, XO. Hugs and kisses, fucking Greeks, fucking Brits, whatever. Wow, I can feel my IQ dropping like 60 points, and it's amazing. Alright. So my take. Wait. Let's try from this angle. My take. My take. Oh. My take on Henry V. Hi! I'm upside down. It's upside down world. It's upside down spooky world. Ugh. Okay. So. Wait. I think I want this again. So. Henry V. Which is, I mean, granted, it's not like my favorite Shakespeare play. Is Titus Andronicus, but that was already taken, so this is my second choice. Alright, so you know what, I think I should put more canisters in this thing, because I think it would be funnier if I say my piece on whippets, because I'm a very silly old lady girl child who honestly probably doesn't have that much going for her. I mean, Alright, let's get her done. Max, don't you jump out that window, because that would hurt and I'd be very sad. Don't do it. Okay, here we go. Do I look cool on my former alma mater school bus? Yeah. So I only went here for like a month in high school, but this is where I fucking... Alright. So. Henry V. Alright, so basically, what had happened is, so after an insult from the French Dauphin, King Henry V of England decided he was going to invade France to claim the throne, because he believes it should be his. But, in the meantime, he goes to war, stops an assassination attempt, or actually an assassination plot is what he so he uncovers this assassination plot and he fucking solves that shit like a boss. He just totally gets it fucking taken care of. And then he goes out and he gives all these fucking amazing, powerful fucking speeches that inspire everybody and makes everybody want to fight and kill things. And by things, I mean other people. They really want to kill other people because they really think they got something to prove and they're on the right. So Henry V gives all these powerful speeches, and then, so he totally wins a bunch of battles against all odds. There's so many odds. All the odds are against him. He totally fucking beats the odds. So, in the end, he wins. And then he weds and weds. He woos and wins the Princess of France, right? And links the two nations, which is was kind of the goal from day one, even though I guess he really didn't know it, but he was yeah, let me marry this bitch because this is a good way to solve all our problems. And also Henry V stays relevant and stays the king and fucking wins everything and goes down in history as one of the best kings ever. So there you go. Fucking Henry V. Fucking hero. Speeches, battles, winning against all odds, totally back against the wall, not establishment or whatever. So pretty sure he'd be fuck Trump too. So be like Henry V and be fuck Trump and that shit. Alright, I think I'm done.
Melody Cressida, she's the daughter of this priest that's gone over to the Greek side.
This is pretty hot.
Yeah. So Cressida, it would be quicker. So Pandarus pawns Cressida off on this guy named Troilus. He's a prince of Troy. He's the son of the king Priam. And he's kind of your regular basic bitch, ignorant,
Drives a Volkswagen Jetta, drinks pumpkin spice lattes.
He's
I fucking hate pumpkins.
he likes pumpkin flavor.
Shut up, horse!
Anyway, but he's not as bad as the cause of the Trojan War. This guy named Paris, he fell in love with this gal.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Well, we're not going to talk much more about Paris, but fuck that guy. So,
That guy.
anyway, this is important.
Is it?
Maybe.
Hi everybody, I'm Sin. This is Mabel. She insists upon being in the shot. So suck that up. I'm here today to talk about Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night, great play about androgynous people. Super great. Today I'm drinking a screwdriver. because they're delicious. And I'll also put a little bit of coconut rum in there because, exotic. So, we start off with Viola. Viola is the main character of the play. She was shipwrecked. She was on a ship with her brother. Brother's missing. She doesn't know where she is. She's kind of freaking out. She's rescued by this random dude. Random dude's like, yeah, no, your brother's probably fine. Whatever. It's okay. And so Livy's still freaking out. She's trying to figure out, okay, so I'm in this foreign land. I don't know what to do. She finds out that it's overseen by this dude named Count Orsino. Count Orsino, she also finds out, is in love with this girl named Olivia. And Olivia doesn't want to see any men for 7 years because her brother and dad just died and she's in mourning, which is like great excuse. So because it's Shakespeare, she develops this plan to disguise herself as a man because it's, the patriarchy and women aren't respected. Disguise herself as a man and go work for Orsino and maybe hang out more often than not in Olivia's court. She kind of agrees to talk him up. And so she does that. She goes to Olivia's court, and at first Olivia doesn't want to see him, doesn't want to see anybody because, men. And then they just, upon finding out that Olivia, who is now going by Cesario, is this beautiful, young, androgynous person. She's like, I don't know, maybe. I guess I'll see him, haha. So, we'll call them they. They, Viola, Cesario, they, are invited in. They try to talk up Count Orsino. Count Orsino stands no chance because Cesario is beautiful. Olivia wants that pussy. That's it. Baby girl has a type. So, Cesario's freaking out. They realize, I think she's in love with me. And then just kind of, backs away. But, they know that they have a job to do. And so they agree to come back under the guise of, talking up Orsino, even though, Cesario's going to try their best. Olivia doesn't give a heck about Orsino. Flash to Olivia's uncle. Olivia's uncle is gross. He's, a really gross uncle. He's really rude. He has this best friend named Andrew. He, tries to, boost up Andrew and be like, yo, you can get that. You can get Olivia. I want that for you, homie. They're just gross. That's just to introduce you to them. And then it kind of goes, you flash to Cesario Viola's brother, Sebastian, and he's alive. That's super great. He's been rescued by the sea captain named Antonio. Antonio is super gay for Sebastian. And it's that's not even hyperbole. He's that's the play. He's if you won't have me as romantically, then I will be your slave. It's gay and oof, chef's kiss. So Sebastian's I don't know what I'm gonna do. I've heard about this guy named Orsino. I guess I'll go work for him. Antonio's I'll bring you there just to spend more time with you. And Sebastian, he's okay, yeah, no, we're best buds. So, then we kind of flash to a sort of subplot. I'll summarize this because it's not super integral to the plot, but the Sirs, Sir Toby and Sir Andrew, along with Mariah, one of the servants of Olivia, they really hate the steward of Olivia's because he's pompous. His name's Malvolio. Malvolio, super pompous, jerk, looks down on everybody, and they've had enough. So they devised a plan to make Malvolio think that Olivia is in love with him, and also to make her kind of hate him a little bit. So they tell him, they write this letter, because Mariah can apparently forge Olivia's handwriting. What, servant can't do that. No terrible things could come of that, I'm sure. So they just write a letter, and they're like, oh, wear some yellow stockings, smile all the time, everybody's going to be against you, but, pursue me anyway. And so guy goes crazy. He, does everything that's said in the letter. He, puts on yellow stockings, which is Olivia's least favorite color. She really, really hates yellow. So she just, goes and walks up to Olivia, just, grinning his arse off, and, Olivia is what is happening? You are possessed, and, sends him to be taken away by basically the people who have set up the prank, and they live for it. They're oh, you're a demon, blah, blah, blah. And then they just, put him in this dark room and, trap him away in there. We'll kind of get back to that a little bit later. So, then we kind of, there's obviously just a lot of back and forth between Cesario and Olivia, where Cesario's yo, my boy, Orsino, he's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool dude. And Olivia's but your eyes, you're so beautiful. She just freaks out the entire time over this beautiful androgynous person. Mostly because, one, they're gorgeous, and two, they're just, straightforward. They don't really care about Olivia. They're just super straight talker, which they appreciate. So we kind of move on to, let me see, back to Sebastian, and Sebastian is again traveling with Antonio. Antonio is enraptured with him, and so they arrive at Ilaria, and Antonio's here is all of my money, go buy yourself whatever you want, because we all need an Antonio. It's quality. And then Sebastian's yeah, sure, that's great. He's living the life. He loves the attention. Sebastian loves the attention. And then we kind of move on to Sir Andrew. Sir Andrew has been talked up so much. He's going to fight Cesario, who it's been recognized that Olivia digs Cesario. So Sir Andrew wants to kind of duel Cesario for Olivia's love. Now Toby, absolute jerk, talks both of them up, says oh yeah, each one is a great fighter. And so they're freaking out. He arranges this duel. They go together. But as they're about to duel, Antonio shows up, confuses Cesario for Sebastian because they look identical. Cesario dressed as a man, and is I'll fight you in the name of this young lad, and then some guards show up. They recognize Antonio as a wanted man. They go to arrest him. Antonio's yo, that money that I gave you, can you use it for my bail? But because it's not Sebastian, it's actually Cesario, Cesario's I don't know what you're talking about. And Antonio he is so mad because he thinks that Sebastian is just acting like he doesn't know him. He's heartbroken. So he mentions Sebastian's name. Cesario gets absolutely freaked out and realizes holy butts, my brother's in town, let me go find him, and runs off. The Sirs think that they're trying to escape from a fight, and so they go looking for Cesario. And Cesario doesn't find him, but the Sirs stumble upon Sebastian, and Sebastian is a great fighter. He busts them up. They're stumbled upon by Olivia. Olivia also confuses Sebastian for Cesario, obviously in love, and then they just ride up, and she tries to stop the fight. She, like, manages to. She proposes to Sebastian. Sebastian is like, hot lady proposing to me? She's super rich? Yeah, I'm gonna marry that. So they just, like, get married right then and there, which is very unfortunate because, you know, it's not Cesario, it's Sebastian. And so, later, like, Orsino comes and he's, like, walking because he's, like, walking with Cesario, he's walking with his men, and they stumble upon Antonio, and Antonio is like, you stole my money. Cesario is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Olivia comes out, and she's like, you are my husband. And Cesario's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Orsino is like, what? You married her? What are you? And so, obviously, Orsino is mad because this entire time Cesario is supposed to be talking him up. And so, like, you get, like, Toby, the sirs come, well, basically, Sir Andrew comes and he's like, yo, your boy beat us in the face. Cesario, again, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then kind of, like, Sir Andrew, like, skedaddles, but Cesario's like, I have no idea what's happening. Everybody's accusing me of all this stuff. And then you get, like, Sebastian who rolls up and he's like, sorry, I hurt your men. And then all of a sudden they kind of, like, see each other, Sebastian and Cesario / Viola. And so, like, they're, like, asking each other questions. They're like, you look really familiar, because they look identical. And then they figure out that each other is the lost sibling. And so after they figure out that each other is the lost sibling, they're like, the whole ruse is, like, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, apparently, Olivia, totally cool with it being Sebastian, even though she has no idea who he is. And then Orsino, who was, like, hard-pressed on Olivia, is just like, oh, okay, I guess that's a thing. And then is just like, yo, you know, we've been spending a lot of time together. Actually refers to Cesario Viola as boy. And it's like, we've been spending a lot of time together. You said that if you were a woman, you'd be interested. Let's get married. And then it's happily ever after, basically. Like, in kind of a weird flow of things, Malvolio shows up and is just like, what's happening? You said you loved me. And then they kind of figure out, like, he's been made a fool of. It's like a weird side story that does not actually tie into the plot at all. It's not super helpful. But yeah, they just live happily ever after. Olivia's fine that she married this stranger, and Count Orsino is just like, he's like, yeah, like, all I needed is just, like, I don't know, a hole to marry, I guess. Yeah. And that's 12th Night.
Over there. They're not important right now.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway,
Craig knows what's going on.
so Hector,
He's telling a story.
Craigus Maximus.
I don't know, maybe Patroclus dies of excitement, but he dies at the hands of Hector.
Say what?
Because Achilles will fuck you up.
Also,
Damn
he
right.
sucks. He kind of sucks.
Yeah,
So
dude.
Achilles comes out swinging. Hector, still too big a dick for Achilles. They fight to a draw. It's not like that movie Troy. That movie Troy is bullshit.
That's such bullshit!
It's such bullshit.
Fuck you, Brad
You
Pitt!
know what? Hector
Fuck
was the
you.
best.
It's-
No. Anyway, so he fights him to a standstill.
Duly noted.
He gets a bunch of these obscurely named guys named Myrmidons. He comes back later.
Mermaidens.
Yeah, he comes back later. He fucking catches Hector without his fighting gear, and Hector's
He was
trying to sleep it off.
Basically, Hector was taking a drunken shit.
Oh,
And they fucked him up.
It was a very Elvis moment.
Died
for
like
Hector.
Elvis. On the fucking throne.
That's where a king dies.
And that's where the play also ends.
On his throne.
The play ends at this point. It's the most confusing Shakespeare play probably of all time. It's supposed to be
As
bawdy,
you have learned.
It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be fun. There's fighting. There's fencing. There's giants.
There's apparently Jesus.
Jesus.
We like to
baby
refer to this
Jesus.
play was written in William Shakespeare's acid.
And
phase.
Mary Magdalene. Here she comes.
Oh, that's my favorite hope.
So sober, so weak.
Well, I'm Dick Jones, and that's our show, everybody.